Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we saw a bunch of dictators appear all over the map, like over here in blue, surprisingly. We saw Morocco become very big. We saw the tensions between Algeria, or Carthage, and Rome, and then the rest of their alliance grow even bigger, and the Nile and Sudan have bigger tension with Libya. The Catalonia-Spain border disputes have grown to become bigger between like the tensions and stuff. Russia became like a power. A new mini refugee state formed, and also, most importantly, all of Central, Western, and most of Northern Europe has been claimed by some sort of country. I'm not sure if this was last episode, but we saw this little thing come from Vietnam, and so yeah, make sure to go watch the last episode because there's a lot of stuff that happened. It's a 48-minute long episode, and it's a very good episode. I'm actually not sure what else happened last episode. Anyway, we're gonna move into Europe, and like how I said that there was a lot of countries here. Well, we're going to gain one less. France hasn't done anything since they fell apart a few episodes ago. In fact, they might have been invaded. I'm not sure. But this country, they got invaded by this little blue guy. And, well, they're going to get invaded again by France. So, France is going to move their army, and this army has cobwebs all over it because it has not done anything in years. France is going to move in and move their army in. Let me turn on this. There we go. They only have one other major city, and they're going to it's going to be a 10-hour long campaign. They are not invading this guy up here. Like I said, though, this is going to be a 10-hour long campaign, and they're just going to just easily move in through here. And it shows that either number one, France is still very dominant, or number two, this country is very weak. And I think, honestly, it's probably number two. But this country gets fully annexed. And let's remove that capital, and we are done here. Except we're not done here. We're just going to move over here. And Russia is going to, I think, the first ever invading of a country. They've never invaded a country before, and they're going to invade this refugee state. Why? Because these are refugees from Russia. So Russia is going to take their army, which hasn't been used at all yet, unless, like, I don't know, peacekeeping forces. But this army is going to move in, and this is not going to be a 10-hour long campaign. It's going to be multiple days, probably a few weeks. And these guys have no major cities, so for them. I mean, they probably do have major cities. It's just I haven't, drawn them in yet. But their capital is taken, and they surrender. No, they actually don't surrender because this is a refugee state, and they want their sovereignty. Remember, Russia is kind of almost a dictatorship. Not really a dictatorship. Like, they're not, like, literally a dictatorship, but they are not a, like, nice country. There's, like, personal taxes, which basically means that some of these taxes that these people are paying just go straight to the leader, and also the leader just does dictator-like things. But after they get split in two, they're going to capitulate over to Russia. And inside of this peace treaty, we see them getting fully annexed, because if they don't get fully annexed, what else would happen? Also, I don't have provinces drawn in for them, so that sucks. Speaking of provinces, I'm actually redoing them right now because I didn't like how they looked. So I'm redoing them all right now, and I'm going to get rid of most of them. I'm definitely going to get rid of Rome's, and I'm definitely going to get rid of India's. However, I don't know what else I'm going to get rid of. I'm probably going to get rid of almost everything. I also added this giant thing right here, and for fun, because I wanted a giant province somewhere. Okay, anyway, this German country hasn't done a lot, and usually when they do stuff, they get very much so humiliated. However, not this time, because they're going to take their army and they are going to move it in. This army is going to move in, and after just a little bit, there is a stalemate, and they are unable to move their army anymore. So they will agree to a peace treaty with this Lime country, and they meet inside of Pink's capital. Inside of this peace treaty, they agree to this. And Germany's borders, I don't think have ever looked good, but if only they were to, like, invade Pink and Poland, then they would look better. I'm not saying that I'm going to have them invade Pink and Poland, but I'm just saying that they look really bad. Also, what if I adjusted Rome's color? Because it really looks bad on the map to me. This is, like, a really big adjustment for this guy, but I think it's a really needed adjustment. I think this is better. Yeah, this is better. I really needed this adjustment. It hurt my eyes. Rome did. Like, the purple on everything, it just looks so bad. I think that looks really good. And also, now we can tell the difference between Algeria and Rome. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Jeez, oh my god. But Germany must have heard the words of the god, aka me. And they are going to go to war with Poland. Poland hasn't used their army ever. However, that does not mean that their army is bad. Swear we're always just gonna see little pieces of Rome everywhere. Yeah, look, right over here. I think we're good. Anyway, Poland, they're going to move their army in. Pulling up the major cities map, they probably should be going up north. However, the army, it's like a stalemate up here. However, it's Poland's doing good down here. Poland's going to keep on pushing in, and they're going to do like a bit of a sweep down through here. And after that, they reach over here, and it's pretty much just a stalemate. Germany is going to try to invade in. However, they get kicked out pretty fast, and now it's just a stalemate, and no one's moving. However, Poland, they moved. If I can get the right color. Poland moved just a little bit, and now the front lines are looking a bit like this, and no one is moving at all. So, once again, Germany is going to sign surrender. Oh, no, they're not going to surrender. Poland is going to say, hey, would you like to surrender before we, kick your butt? Because we've taken all your southern, and there's nothing else you could do. And Germany will reluctantly agree. So once again, they're going to probably meet in Denmark's capital this time. Germany's still very salty about Denmark, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. But inside of this peace treaty, Germany is going to lose this southern half here. Please say I have provinces for this. No, of course there's not provinces. Okay, so this is what the new borders look like. Oh, of course the provinces are up north. Okay. But I guess now Germany's borders are kind of fixed because they don't have this weird thing that's just hanging out at the bottom here. They're just like really bent. They look like a backwards C. Just invade pink already. Oh my god, Germany. Inside of the British Isles here, we're going to see our Daily Britain update happen. The Daily Britain updates haven't been too much fun recently because it hasn't been happening too much recently. And also there's more exciting things across the world like Russia and the Mongolian Empire. But anyway, these fronts are going to happen, and they're going to make a little bit of a naval landing right here, an amphibious landing, and they're going to push in like this. They're going to keep on pushing in, and this Cornwall country is going to surrender. Inside of this peace deal, they truly do become Cornwall because they are in Cornwall now. But now we barely have any countries on the British Isles now. We have 4 on the British Isles and one very small one. I think that this is the most united it has ever been. Alright, moving just south, we're going to go to the Iberian Peninsula. Spain is very mad at Catalonia because they really want these border disputes here. Why do they want them? I have no idea. There's not even that much population besides for this major city area. This border dispute right here, absolutely no population. There's barely anyone living here. It's right outside of the major city, and most people live inside of the major city. But yeah. But Spain is demanding these provinces go to, Spain and Catalonia, and their alliance with, Dublin and whatever country this is saying no. Tensions are escalating, and, well, we could see a war happen between a power and an alliance, right next to another war that could happen between a power and an alliance. I'm also going to shift Spain's color. I don't like it. I like that, but Spain isn't meant to be orange. I think we just keep it because there's nothing else we could do, really. Anyway, just south of this, it's very weird. We're just staying in the exact same area. Just after this, Morocco is going to invade this little country right here. I don't even remember how this country formed. I think it was some sort of refugee country. It's completely irrelevant. Oh, and these islands should have been explored long ago. So have these islands been explored? Yeah, my bad, guys. I'm a little bit outdated on these. Anyway, Morocco is going to attack. They're going to push in through the south west here, and they're going to, kind of just sweep through. They're going to encircle the capital, do a big encirclement. And, well, they're kind of screwed. The capital will fall, however, they're not going to surrender just yet. Then Rome is going to decide to keep on invading, and this time they're going to open up a new front in this northern area, and they're going to just sweep through the country. Connecting both of the fronts ended it. It was the end of this country, and they collapse. In this peace treaty, it's going to happen, I don't know, probably on this island right here. Morocco is going to take it all. Let's get rid of that capital city. And also one more thing. Spain, looking for more land, they're going to grab these islands. They are also going to go up north a little bit, and they have found this island as well. Don't worry, that also includes the neighbor. They have both of those islands. But as you can see, Morocco is becoming pretty big. Speaking of becoming pretty big, they're going to expand. They're going to expand in 3 areas. One is going to be right down here, the other is going to be right here, and the other is going to be right here. I really don't like their border between West Africa. However, I do have plans here. And you might be questioning what that is because they are in the same alliance. So, I don't know. Guess. But as you can see, Morocco is absolutely massive. West Africa hasn't expanded in years, and they're going to expand for the first time ever. Well, obviously not the first time ever. They've expanded once before, but the first time in a long time. And officially, they are connected to these more southern countries right here. And oh god, the border gore. I hate it. So what are these? They also apparently both agree on me with this border gore because we are seeing something massive happen. The African Union is forming. That is right. Between Morocco and West Africa, not Carthage. Carthage really likes their sovereignty, but West Africa it's strong nonetheless, but it could be better. So they are going to form the African Union between Morocco and themselves, and this is not because of this border war. I promise you, I had this plan before I did these borders. I plan out my entire episode before I do it, so like that way it's just better. But anyway, they're going to unite with Morocco, and now I'm seeing a lot of red on this map. We have a giant red over here. We have a medium-sized red over here, and then a giant red over here. It's more purple. And then we also have a giant red over here. Wow, it's always the red. That's like powerful. And anyway, after doing that, they're going to take these islands. Because why not? It's just fun to take islands, especially when we're setting up, the exploration and expansion into the Americas. And after that, they're going to expand just a little bit to fix up these borders a little bit. And boom, shakalaka, they look like that now. And this country is absolutely massive. And I'm going to call these guys the African Union, by the way, and they do not have dual capitals. I really want to do that with some sort of union. I think this is the first union ever. No, there was the lime and red union. But this is probably the second union ever, I think. Maybe. No, there's a union right here, so this is the third union ever. As you can tell, unions are becoming a little bit more popular. But basically, I really want to do a dual capital union. And this is not, Morocco taking over West Africa, by the way. This is them uniting into one country. They both agreed to do this. Alright, but we're going to see a new treaty happen inside of Southeast Asia between Korea and Vietnam. This is called the Treaty of the Filipino Islands, and they're going to meet in Taiwan to sign up this treaty. Inside of this treaty, it will decide who gets what inside of the Philippine Islands. Korea gets this thing right there, this thing, all this right over here, this massive island, this island right here, this island right here, this island right here, and then a pretty large colony right here. So as we can see, Korea is becoming pretty massive, and Vietnam is going to take the rest. Now I know what you're saying. Why the heck did Korea get more? And that's because, well, Vietnam knows that they pretty much have all of this area to themselves, and well, they're going to collapse if they try and take it all to themselves, so they're not going to take too much from the Filipino Islands, and just like that, it's going to be split between a faraway power and a relatively close power. And by the way, this island right here has open borders between uh Vietnam. So Vietnam is allowed to pass through this island to get to theirs by land, by the way. However, for the rest of them, it's open waters but not open borders. They can't go into the islands unless they have like explicit permission or some sort of passport or visa or whatever. And military is allowed access through this island, like I said, but then not through any other island. All right, but moving back into Europe and, well, just Mediterranean in general, we're going to see the Rome-Carthage incident. This will be the Second Punic War. Rome sends an insult to Carthage, and it's about the leader's wife. And Carthage doesn't take this too easily. Right next to it, however, Spain declares war on Catalonia, and Catalonia activates their alliance because they know that they cannot fend off Spain by themselves. Let me turn on the alliance layer really quickly. So here, as you can see, Catalonia is going to call in both of their allies right here, and now it is a war of the Octagon, I think, yeah, Octagon Alliance against a great power. And now we also have the Triangle Alliance against Rome, once again an alliance against a great power. And the Nile and Sudan will join the war on the Triangle Alliance's side, because they still want to somehow attack Rome. They will probably only be supplying them for now until they get a direct border with them. Libya. But Carthage is the only one that actually borders Rome besides Libya. And Carthage is going to be pushing in. Carthage, a great, powerful country. Look at you moving in like that. They are going to move in through here and attack all throughout this, and they're going to make a good sweeping campaign down like this. And these holdings are overrun. They are quickly annihilated. The western half falls, and Rome is panicking because what the heck are they meant to do? In the meantime, they take over Malta as coping mechanisms. But in panic, they are going to look for an ally, and well, who goes to their front door or whatever? Libya does. I don't know if I was hinting at it a second ago, but yeah, Libya's joining. And just like that, the Circle Alliance will be forming. This is only a temporary alliance, probably. I just want to point that out. But Libya is going to do the one thing they can do, and they're going to push into these other countries. So Libya, even though they're helping over here on the front line, they're only barely able to push back on this front line. However, over on their eastern side, they're able to do a lot of work. However, they're going to have a counteroffensive, and they are going to get pushed all the way out of their territory. That's right, Libya is gone from like their territory, and they are going to start pushing back in. The Nile makes a good sweeping campaign, and this is going to be the combined army of the Nile and Sudan. And this legendary campaign is going to last for about a week, and that's because they make a counteroffensive and push them all the way back once again. Libya is going to push back into the Nile. They're going to do a lot of work. Let me turn off the alliance layer really quickly. And they're also going to do a lot of work inside of Sudan. So the Second Punic War is pretty crazy. And Libya is going to keep on pushing in there, approaching the capital. Over here in Carthage, Libya and Rome, they're not able to do much. It's very hard to fight, for Rome to fight across waters. And either way, this area of here, it's been very unstable for a long time. And Carthage is just going to keep on pushing through. And just like that, the final day is the fight for Rome. And Libya is going to try their hardest, which will allow the Nile to push back a lot. And Carthage will finish off Roman Africa, I think we could call it. But once that's done, they're going to not be able to start an offensive into Libya because, well, they're not able to fight Libya because they are too strong. I'm not saying that they're, like, insanely strong, but, like, they're just not able to push into Libya for, like, reasons that they're too strong. And, Rome will say to Carthage, hey, look, this was a good fight you put up, and it's a good fight we all put up, but, we're done. We're not able to fight. It's too hard for us. Can we just sign a peace treaty? And they go over to Cyprus right here. They go into this major city and they sign. No, they go into Crete. They go into Crete and they sign a peace treaty inside of Crete. And this peace treaty looks like this. This is a big peace treaty, so let me just go through it all at once. Carthage is going to take over all of this, all of that. So that means that Rome is officially kicked out of Africa fully. The First Punic War was just kind of like a dent. They were given a dent and they were kind of kicked out of Africa, like literally just barely. But now Carthage is giant, and in fact, why not just make it even better? And they will move their capital because, well, they've been setting up a certain area for a while now, and that's right, their capital is moving to none other than literally Carthage. We have a lot of resemblance in this world, I think. I think it's just because of, how strategic some of these places are. Like, number one, Carthage is on a mini peninsula inside of the Mediterranean. Yeah, Rome is just, like, a great place to have it, and it's a lot of, mirroring of our real world. But moving down here, Libya is going to take this amount of land from the Nile, Sudan, and I'm sure they won't take too much from the Nile. Okay, never mind. They're going to take practically all of the Nile. And the Nile is reduced to, barely anything. They've lost some of their original land they got when they, first formed. And from this, the Nile is no longer able to function, as well as they could, and, they're looking to unite. So the first thing they'll do is sell the rest of Sinai Peninsula over to Red because they cannot hold it. It's too far across the waters, and most of the time inside of the Suez Canal, we see, literal ships just going through. So yeah, they're not able to hold that. And for the rest of it, they're going to request to unite with Sudan, and Sudan agrees. So we could see this unification happen looking like this. However, that's not going to happen because Red steps in one more time. Red blocks the unification, and Red threatens annexation if the unification proceeds. Sudan will back down, and Red will take control over the rest of the Nile. That's right, these were former allies, and Red has now taken them over. And gee, I really do need to change the color of Libya. There's too much red. I think that's a good color. We could do that. There's just a lot of red. But anyway, moving up north, this war, the Catalonia and Spain war right here, that is going to happen at the same time as the Second Punic War. It's just I had to do, one and then the other. I couldn't do both of them at the same time. So Spain is going to move in. The first thing they're going to do is take over the areas of where they want. And that goes pretty successfully. They even take a major city while they're at it. And Spain will continue moving up right here, and they will capture Catalonia's capital and the major city right north of it. However, whatever this is called, Catalonia and their allied forces will march down eastern Iberia, and they will not stop. They march all the way down here before they send in more troops, and the border thickens up even more. And Spain is going to declare white peace. And inside of this peace treaty, we see Spain taking over these border disputes that they were requesting. However, Catalonia, I think, did a lot better because now they are absolutely massive and they take over all of the eastern Iberian coast, making Spain a lot less powerful. However, they're still very powerful. They're just crying in the corner because they're very sad. And now they are looking further west because, they have nothing else to do. They can't even go east anymore. They can't, they can barely trade with Rome. Originally, they kind of just went like this. They kind of just went through here and landed in there. However, now they're going to have to go like this, kind of, to trade with Rome and then they're able to trade. Moving over here, we're going to see China tell all of these guys, hey, we're going to need to expand a lot if we want our trade routes to be able to link up. You may notice that there aren't really trade routes. The trade routes go all the way around the coast, and it's not very ideal. It's very annoying. And China just wants to be able to go like this. It's very simple. So they're going to coordinate a bunch of expansion by all these guys. So inside of this treaty, we see not that, but we see this happen. Each one is going to take over a lot of land, and just like that, Southeast Asia is very, very full. In fact, I think it's actually completely filled up now. But with that happening, they are going to start working on this new trade route, and the trade route is going to look like this, and then it will be internationalized. And it's pretty big now over here. And well, now we're going to see something non-catastrophic happen. So this has been happening across the whole entire episode, by the way. This is happening for the last few episodes, however, I just wanted to do it all at once. This has been happening ever since episode 10. Like beginning of episode 10, which was right after the floods. And these floods have been receding. The only one that I have covered is India because, well, I just wanted to show that, yes, they can recede. However, lots more floods have been receding. So let's take a look at that. This flood over here will recede completely. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to move China's capital. It's going to be moved right here because it looks better right here. There we go. This one up north here will also recede. This flood over here will recede. What the hell happened? There we are. There we go. I fixed it. Okay, and then the Bangladeshi flood over here, that recedes. I think I accidentally botched up this border here, but it's fine. The rest of India's floods have receded, which includes this one, and this one. Red's early flood over here recedes. Red's flood right here recedes. Red's Euphrates Lake right here, that recedes. Libya's flood recedes. Floods over here receded. Surprisingly, Rome's flood in, the peninsula and over here in Sicily have fully receded. The flood over here in the Strait of Gibraltar has almost fully receded. It doesn't fully recede. Originally, the land was a lot closer than it is right now. However, it receded in a way that it's still kind of like that. Over here in blue, their floods right here recede. Surprisingly, Red's capital is back, and so is Qatar. France's flood has receded. And now that means that the only flood that remains is in the Suez Canal, and that's only because of conditioning. Oh, shoot. The flood in Crimea also recedes, which means that the only flood remaining is over here in the Suez, and that is only due to conditioning. It's kind of like what they do over here in the Netherlands in the real world, how they kind of like have to spit out water. In this scenario over here, they, spit in water, and that is because of how helpful it has been for trade. It made a bunch of, prosperous help and stuff everywhere. And I'm telling you that in probably like 75 episodes or something like that, you will understand why these floods happened. Yeah, probably not exactly 75 episodes, but towards the end of the series, you guys will understand why these floods happened, how they happened, what caused them to happen, and just all of that stuff. So make sure to stay tuned until the end of the series. But moving up north, by the way, this is not just all at once. This happened across, like, multiple episodes ever since episode 10. I just only wanted to wait until episode 13 to do it. But up here in Norway, they're going to do the first ever time that they've ever used their military, I think. Oh my god, if I can control the mouse. And they are going to invade this weird-looking green state right here because it is, very weak and it's in their way of the resources that they want. So they're going to move in and quickly, within a day, take the capital, and then within 2 days, take over the rest of the country. And they fall over to whatever country this is, Norway. Just like that, we can get rid of their capital. But they are going to, they're going to look east at Russia, and they're going to go, oh, damn, maybe we should have done a little bit more than just invade that, because, Russia is a pretty expansion state, and you're going to see the term expansion has become very, very relevant in like a second. So the first thing they're going to do is explore, and you might be wondering, I'm grabbing out my size 100 brush. That's how much they're exploring. They are going to start off their exploration, and they're going to explore all of this. They're even going to find this Arctic island up here. And, well, once they get too far into whatever this place is called, they're going to have to stop. Also, Norway, they're going to go north, and they're going to find this thing, Svalbard. They're going to find Svalbard. And these little islands are also going to end up getting discovered. So, as we see, the world's getting discovered pretty rapidly. But Russia is going to expand. And they're going to have a giant expansion. Like, massive. They're also going to take these islands up here. And now you might be wondering, does this have backlash on the people? Yes. However, they're not going to do anything because this is a very, very bad leader. You do not want to make him mad. So they're not going to say anything. However, they're going to cry in their seats. What is up with cyan over here? They are very, very saturated. There we go. That's a lot better. They should not be that desaturated. And I believe at this point, Russia is now the largest country on the entire map. Pretty big. Wish they weren't gray because, well, there's a lot of gray over here and stuff. But it'll look good on thumbnails because I don't use gray in thumbnails. But moving just south of that area, we're going to go into green. And they're going to invade a country right next to them. There's 3, 4, 5 countries that they can invade. 2 of them we could just mark off because there's no way they're invading red or India. They could invade gold, they could invade cyan, and they could definitely invade this purple country, and that's the country they'll be invading. They're going to move in, and they're going to just quickly take over a lot of this area and grab the panhandle right here. And let me just, grab the capital. Let me just tell you guys something. There's absolutely no love between any of these countries. Cyan does not fall under these countries anymore. They are just completely veered off because of how they were set up. Like, they were completely untouched by the original country, which is completely gone now. What the heck is this? There you go. It's on the major cities layer. So yeah. But anyway, they're going to continue pushing on. And then, this state is going to collapse. And, well, inside of this peace treaty, they're going to have barely anything left. So, inside of this peace treaty, Green's going to take all of that. And this little rest of it doesn't have capital, and that's because it's not going to exist for any amount of time. And that's because they are too weak to function, and they're going to unite with this country, or they're going to ask to be annexed by this country. So yeah, this country is getting big. And as we can tell, all these countries are getting pretty big over here. You know what? This is just going to be something that I'm going to do, and that's just because I hate these borders here. I'm sorry. It's not really. It's not, like, true to what's actually happening. Just pretend it was like this all along, okay? I just cannot bear to look at that border any longer. It's so freaking ugly. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And then, gold is... Yeah, they're just going to sit here. Tibet, Tibet, Tibet. They appeared last episode. And, well, they are not going to look like they appeared last episode and soon because they are going to expand a lot. So first, they're going to expand and take over this area. Then they're going to expand and take over this area. Then they're going to look west and take over all of this. In fact, they're not going to look west and take over all of this. Gold is going to look south and take over all of this. Yep, that looks a lot better. But now Tibet and this other country are both absolutely massive. And China, looking for, just better life, they're going to get expanding a lot. So this is also probably after, like, a while, they're going to take over all of this, and they are absolutely massive. By the way, they do not only have major cities here. It's just I haven't updated the major city map in a long time. I'm going to do that later. So yeah. But we're moving over here to green. And green is going to go, hey, red. Oh, by the way, this have absolutely nothing to do with what just happened up here. But green's going to go, hey, red. So there's this, like, land that we really want. They're going to request all of this land, about pretty much all that land. That's about, like, a rough drawing of what they want. And red is going to go, heck no. And, they're really mad because they're like, you expect us to even say yes to that? How much disrespect do you have for us? And, they're going to declare war on green. Yeah. However, before they can do anything, India will step in and go, whoa, dude, no. But they don't care enough, so green is going to move in just a little bit. And they're going to take over the southern kind of area right there. And red is going to do what they want to do. They're going to push them back up here. And after that, they're going to continue their sweeping front. And they're going to start pushing in through here with amphibious landings and push them out of their territory. Pushing them all the way out, they're going to continue pushing in through here, having a new southern front. And they're going to keep on sweeping. They're going to take the capital and the capital region around it. And, well, Green's going to surrender. And let's take a look at this peace treaty. Inside of this peace treaty, they lose a lot of stuff, including their capital. So, well, they're going to relocate their capital up to here. That's just because they, I forgot to, get rid of it. And either way, it was already a capital before, so that's pretty good for them. And now they don't have any. I don't think they even bordered the Caspian before, but if they did, they've lost that border. Moving over here, though, we're going to see India expand. India is going to expand, and now they look really big. And then one final little battle between, not battle, but like wanting for land up here. Bangladesh is going to expand, and they're going to take over all this. And this eastern Bangladesh one, in spite, is going to take this. And just like that, you are unable to expand over here. However, before Bangladesh is able to expand here, guess what? Guess what? India moves in and takes that. Nope, that's a lie, actually. The land will be split. So, India is going to take this. Or, China is going to take that. Tibet is going to take this, and East Bangladesh is going to take the rest. Just like that, there's like barely anything else that you could do inside of most of Asia. It's fully expanded into, and now there's just like Russian Asia, frickin' freezing this. Oh wait, I didn't even realize Europe is now completely filled in. So Europe was our first continent fully filled in. And then livable Russia, I guess, is the next continent fully filled in. And well, besides this over here, but either way, Laos was or Cambodia, whatever, is just expanded there like that. So yeah, that's pretty chill. And I guess these islands here, they're going to be taken over by that same country right there. And then Cambodia is also going to make a little colony right here, which is good for them. But moving over just west a little bit, we are going to see Blue finally do some invading. Blue has been a neutral country for however long as I can remember, until just the last episode, or maybe the episode before, I can't remember. Where, well, their leader was gone and a dictator came in place. And this dictator will teach his kids his ideas and his morals and what he wants, and then they will teach them and so forth. And unless this leader dies and the new leader that goes into place doesn't have the same ideas as him, Blue's going to be like this for a long time inside of this dictatorship. And we've seen dictatorships pop up everywhere recently. We had, Blue has one, Russia technically has one, and then there's a few more in other places, I think. But anyway, Blue, they're going to invade into these two countries right here. Starting off, they're going to push in through this one, and they're quickly going to take over this northern area. Then they're going to kind of sweep down the coast a little bit, and, well, they're going to capture the capital, and this country will surrender, and then they will move into the second country, and they're going to start taking that over, too. They are going to have this first northern front, and then their second front will be down here, and they will take the capital, and then they will just slam in through the north and the south fronts until they reach each other. And this is basically what I'm doing here is just showing you that Blue has absolutely no mercy. They will take over countries no matter what, and they will be fully annexed, both of these countries. And just like that, that will be the end of this episode. In this episode, we saw a lot of stuff happen. And that will be the end of this episode. So inside of this episode, we saw a lot of things happen. Like the Second Punic War happened, and Rome got kicked out of Africa. The Nile is gone. This war over here between the border disputes that happened. We saw the floods recede. We saw Russia go on a massive expansion arc. And also, most of Asia is completely filled in now. We saw another war happen between red and green. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you guys liked it. And, well, we're almost at the end of the medieval age. The end of that will be, the marking for the end of that will be once the Americas are found. And, I'll give you a little hint, that's going to be in the late teens, and we're approaching that pretty fast. We're on episode 13 right now. Next is going to be episode 14, which and it's going to come out on a Wednesday, because episode 11, wait, hold on. Episode 11 has just come out yesterday. I'm recording this the day after episode 11 came out. That's how ahead I am right now. So I'm going to have episode 14 come out this Wednesday, just for, like, fun. because I want to record it and do it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and I hope you guys liked it. And make sure to comment down any ideas you have, like, subscribe, and until next time, see ya.